AMD just recently announced the RX 6600 XT graphics card, and hardly anybody cares as this is just another SKU added to the lineup, which is just too expensive, hard to get, and clearly targeting a segment with the wrong price. Let's discuss that in this video. Hey, if you enjoy content like this, drop a like, make sure to subscribe, and smash that bell so you never miss another video. Hey, what is going on guys, Danny here, welcome back to the channel and I hope you've all been doing well. You guys remember the day when AMD had launched the RX 480 back in Computex 2016? I remember that event as it sent waves across the GPU market and PC hardware industry. That day Raja Koduri stood on stage and announced a brand new card for the mainstream segment, that $200 bang for the buck category, where you were essentially getting R9 390X or GTX 980 level performance for way cheaper than it would have costed you the previous generation. It was also the card that brought VR to the mainstream segment.
So we wanted to deliver a high performance, low cost, low power solution to democratize VR, which can make VR possible for anyone who wants it. It can drive VR into retail. It can hit system price points, PC price points that can be everywhere in retail. And it can grow the market to over 100 million consumers. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really proud to announce the passion, persistence, play of the Radeon Technology Group. We have a product that just does that. And Radeon RX 480 that delivers VR to the masses. It's premium VR starting at $199.
There was a small crowd that was a bit disappointed because they wanted AMD to have an answer for Nvidia's flagship, the 1080. However, the masses were pleased because at the presentation, AMD highlighted the fact that the majority of gamers are buying GPUs in the $100 to $300 segment. 84% of them. That's a huge chunk of the market.
And why is that? Majority of the gamers buy graphics between $100 to $300. And there are no VR experiences available in that price range today.
So while the big behemoth flagships will usually get the most hyped up announcements, the tech press will rave on about how fast they are and how many frames they can render at 4K, the majority of the market doesn't buy those expensive GPUs. It's graphics cards like the $200 RX 480 or $250 GTX 1066GB that were sold to the masses. In fact, the GTX 1060 is still the most popular card on the Steam hardware survey to this day, a card from 2016. And there's a really good reason for this. It's because neither AMD nor Nvidia care about the entry-level or mainstream segment anymore. Now, I've gone over this in a lot more detail in a video I made last year about how these two manufacturers had effectively killed off this segment. With the release of the 6600 XT and cards like the RTX 3060, it unfortunately seems like both manufacturers will be continuing this trend forward, setting up the market like this as the new norm. Want to buy an entry-level GPU to play modern titles at 1080p? Well, you sure as hell won't be paying $200 anymore, but expect to pay at least double that. It really displeases me to see that the market has become like this. Now let's just briefly take a look at the RX 6600 XT. AMD has announced this card with an MSRP of $379. You get a GPU with a die size of 237mm square, 32 compute units, a boost frequency of up to 2589 MHz, 8GB of G6 memory, and a 160 watt TDP. In terms of performance, AMD are positioning this card to compete against Nvidia's RTX 3060. In their own slides, which you should be taking with a grain of salt as you never know the full details of the testing environments, which areas they're testing in, and at the end of the day they'll be showcasing their best case scenario. Anyways, you can see this card outperforming the 3060 in most games, but the margins aren't that big, and I'm going to safely assume that when you see reviews of this GPU come out, it'll be more in line with the 3060 as opposed to leading it majority of the time. Remember, AMD positioned the 6700 XT as being on the heels of the 3070 or matching it in some scenarios, and when reviews came out, it was more often than not competing with the 3060 Ti, which is about $80 cheaper if we're to go by MSRPs, but we all know how those don't exist in today's world. However, if we were to ignore the price hikes, I feel like AMD really messed up here by making this GPU $50 more expensive than the 3060. Then again, the same was already said about the 6700 XT, but it doesn't even matter. The tech press knows, you know, I know, and AMD knows that the best move would be to just take advantage of the situation, and if the card will sell out in today's market, then that's what they should be going for. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Now, I don't want to just make it seem like AMD is solely to blame here and they're just plain evil corporate greed, because there are a lot of factors involved here which have caused an impact on the entire supply chain and industry. We're still going through a worldwide pandemic. There's a semiconductor shortage, parts are in high demand, whether that's PCB boards, DRAM chips, or, the chips themselves. Cost of labor has gone up, and there is a shortage of labor too. The cost of raw materials has gone up quite a bit over the past year. We also can't forget about the Trump tariffs, and there's probably a whole lot of other stuff as well. I understand that AMD couldn't just come out with the new entry-level GPU like the RX 480 days and price the 6600 XT for the same price point. I still feel though they did hike up the price more than it should have been. Had they priced it at $300, it would have made much more sense, and we would have looked at it as a compelling offer. We can't completely let AMD off the hook, because at $379, why would anyone in their right mind be buying this card over the RTX 3060 Ti, which is a league ahead? I reviewed the 3060 Ti, and that was an excellent GPU because it offered great performance at 1080p and 1440p, plus when overclocked it was pretty much at the heels of the 3070, which is $100 more expensive, and goes head to head against the 6700 XT, which again proves that point where AMD is just overpricing these GPUs. And I at the time thought that, the 3060 Ti was a bit overpriced because it was an X60 class card that was, in that $400 price segment, and I thought that was kind of abnormal at that point. But then this AMD releases a 6600 XT and then makes the 3060 Ti look more attractive. Quite a bizarre situation we have here. The 3060 Ti will not only offer you substantially better performance, but better feature sets like better ray tracing performance, more games support DLSS, their NVENC encoder is just way more superior compared to Radeon's own solutions. I get that AMD wants to get rid of their old image as being the budget brand, and wants to be seen as the market leader, but if you're going to charge a premium, at least have a product with features that make it worthwhile over your competitor, because the 6600 XT just isn't it. I also found it laughable when AMD had included a slide in their press deck talking about how this GPU is over 2x faster than a 1060. I'm sorry, what? Are you talking about comparing this GPU to a card that was launched 5 years ago at almost half the price? Why would you even use that as a selling point? At this point, it is what it is. The market isn't going to change until people stop buying the products at these high prices. And, say enough is enough. We want entry-level GPUs again at that $250 price point. This is why I wanted to do a bit of a recap on what happened back in 2016. Because with the way things are going, unfortunately, I feel like those days are long past us, and we might have to just accept this as the new norm, where entry-level segments start from the low 300s, the mid-range is $500 to $650, and then we have a high-end which just completely rolls off the edge here, which is with just insane pricing, with GPUs being sold for around $1,500 plus. The implications this will have on the PC gaming market will be quite severe, and I don't think enough people realize that. I think we'll be going back to the days where if you want a great gaming experience without having to break the bank, then go with a console. Hey, for around the same price as the 6600 XT, you can get a PS5, a whole console, which can also play games at 4K. PC gaming is starting to look like a real luxury, and I think for the masses, it just doesn't make sense anymore to buy a gaming PC. I hope you guys found this video to be informative and helpful. Let me know your thoughts down below. Check out the video description on ways to support the channel and for my other videos. If you guys are interested in more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.